Welcome to part 5 of the Karaoke Builder Studio tutorial series. In part 5 we are going to show you how to make good use of your SlideShow module. The SlideShow module is used primarily for creating CDGs which you would use as inserts within your project. The CDGs can be used to create an introduction card, which will show, an outro card, which you can add to the end, and where you have instrumental breaks. As I showed you in part 4, how to create within the project a progress bar, we're going to now show you how that can also be created using a CDG in the SlideShow. To begin with, we click the SlideShow module button, and immediately will come up an existing basic template provided by Karaoke Builder Studio. Now, you may have some graphics that you would prefer to use, as in my case I do, and I use it for my Dancing Frog karaoke. So this Karaoke Builder Studio graphic that you see here can be changed. To change it, select that slide, select the image button, and browse to where you have your images. In my case, I have it stored under templates in a subfolder named graphics, and I have some pre-designed graphic material, pictures that I have been using. I will take as an example this JPEG. The program will allow a fairly decent variety of graphic file types. It's probably best to stay with the most commonly used ones, and that would be JPEGs, GIFs, BMPs. Also, you can use PNGs if you have that type of program to create them, or if that's the way that you got them. I'm going to choose this JPEG and click the Open button, and it now replaces what was there. The next step is your colors. Now, you can create your own SlideShow colors, color palettes particularly, or you can import what you already have existing in your main project. For this exercise, we're going to choose what we already have in our project folder to maintain some consistency. Now, immediately you noticed that it changed on the right hand side to what we have in our main lyrics module, the color palette. Now, you can edit these colors within this section as well. For now, we will just simply apply this custom palette to the selected slides. Now, the selected slides, you'll notice that I only have one selected. You can select all and then make that application apply. So now all slides that you have will reflect that color palette. If you have some graphics that need a little improvement, you can use the dithered. If you uncheck dithered, you'll notice it breaks it up. Many graphics are susceptible to breaking up, so I would recommend you stay with it being dithered. Now, with it all slides being selected, click the Optimize, and then click Optimize All Slides, and many of your original colors will be maintained. Now, the position of your graphics may be more than what you want. As you can see in this case, it has basically filled up the whole page. We are going to crop this so it immediately makes it smaller, but we don't want it dead center, at least not in this exercise. So I'm going to align it to the far right corner and crop it to the far right corner. Now, as you can see, it is now in an area which doesn't take up the whole card. The next step is you may want to add in some text. So you select the font button, select the font that you want to use of that as well. Bold or smooth the edges. I find the smooth edges is not always the best, so I'm going to uncheck it for this present time. Now to add actual text, have the font selected, and then here you'd see New, Delete, and these other three are for positioning, to the left, to the center, or to the right. There's other further adjustments you can make to your text once you have it set up. Let's start with our first line. We're going to click New, and New Text pops up. To change this, you double click this area and then type in what you prefer to have in there. In my case, I'm going to use it in caps, Dancing Frog. That's my first line of text. To create a second line of text, you simply click New again, and it will duplicate what you already have into a second line. You double click that, highlight it, and change it to what you prefer. Okay. Now once again, you have a wide selection of fonts which may be installed on your system. I'm going to change the fonts for both of those lines to something that I prefer to use on a regular basis. I'm going to use the Baskerville. Now I can select all the lines and change those text to that font. Now I can adjust these lines to where I really want them. I can set it to the center, back to the left, or to the far right. These are the variables that you have that you can play with. So that's positioning the text, but we can further position the text by moving it down and I'm going to move the first line down to about 10. So I have a nice break between the two lines. Then I may want to add more text, which I can do by simply clicking in New. For this exercise, I'm going to show you how you can create more than one slide for this particular slideshow CDG. I'm going to create a copy of what I've just previously made, and I'm going to change this to Presents. So now you'll see that as it moves through, the Dancing Frog Karaoke will change to Presents. Another way to do that is to keep the Dancing Frog Karaoke in place. I will copy that, and it will insert it right after the first one, and then I'm going to add in another line, and I will type in Presents. There are so many variables here, it's hard to decide for each individual, but as you can see, there are so many things that you can do here to present what you want to have as a start card, I call them. Now, once you have everything in place, you can change the colors or the fonts of each one of these lines. For Dancing Frog, as an example, I'm going to change the color to what I would prefer to have, and it's going to be this green. And I'm going to change karaoke to the same green. Now I can do that with each of these lines by selecting all. What I do is I hold my shift key down and select all three lines, letting my shift key go. Then I could go to the color palette, select the color I want, and there the second slide represents properly. Now I'm going to delete this slide because what I want to do is make a copy of this one, because I want to create some more text. And in this case, I'm going to do in the style of. Now I'm going to position this to 25 across, but I'm going to position it to the left. And I'm going to move it down to about 130. And then I'm going to make a copy of this one. And then I'm going to add another line of text. And here I'm going to add in the artist's name. All right. Now I want to make this in the style of a little smaller, so I can change the font size to 12 and keeping the artist's size to 16. So here I have my first slide will show Dancing Frog Karaoke. Second one will show Dancing Frog Karaoke Presents, and it will continue on. I want to make some finer adjustments to this. What I want to do is replace Presents with the song title. And I'm going to stay with caps. There. Now, if need be, I can adjust Louisiana line to left or right, but in this instance it just worked out. Appears to be very well centered. I'm going to change the color of that line to something else. I'm going to make it a yellow. Now I have to remember to do the same thing in the following slide, or I can take a simple shortcut, and I'm going to copy. Then I will get rid of this one here, and then I'll continue on adding in the artist's name as I had. Make this line the 12. I think you can see as I go along, each slide I'm adjusting it so that everything is consistent. And I'm going to change the name of the artist to the same color as the song title. Okay. So, starting, you're going to have a blank. You cannot enter anything into this first page. It is a start. Here is where you would begin your first page, your second page, your third page, your fourth page, and your fifth. Now, as you can see, it will progress. Now we're going to deal with timing. Each one of these slides can have its set time, and that refers to how long it will show. I'm going to keep this down to 1 second. I'm going to keep this down to 1 second. I'll keep this to 1 second. Same here. But I'm going to hold this a little longer. Now, as you can see, these lines are all consistent as they appear. Okay, so now we've got this far. Let's save this and give it a name. Okay, George Strait down Louisiana way, but we're going to name it as Intro. Okay, let's copy this, because we'll need this again. Save it. Now we will build this CDG. Putting it in our working files. Now you can see that it is 9 seconds and a little bit. Let's play it and see how it shows. Okay. It ran for that 9 seconds. One final thing to do is we will select all the slides. We'll ensure that our custom palette is applied to all of them. Then we will optimize all slides. Then we will save it again. And we will build it again. And it will pop up, prompting you to play it. Now you notice that it goes from top to bottom. Okay. This special effects here allows us to change the way that it transitions from one page to the next. Currently it's set at top to bottom. Let's try it a little different way. Let's go left to right. That gives you a quick view of it. We're going to save everything as left to right transition. Special effects. We're going to save this project again. Now we will build it again. And we're about the same time. Now notice how it comes across the screen from left to right. Okay, that is our slideshow intro. Let's exit the slideshow, and now I'll show you how you insert it into the project itself. Select the edit mode. Go to display remove. Let's double check our time here. How much time do we have? It appears that we have a good 14 seconds. A good 14 seconds from the beginning to this point here. So we could actually increase the size of our slideshow intro by another 5 seconds. let's do that. While we're in the Edit module, we can also access the SlideShow module. We will click that button. We will open our previously saved project for SlideShow intro, and there it is. Now we can increase the time length of each one of these. Let's add another second to this one. We'll add 2 seconds to this one, and we'll add 1 more second to the last one. 1 second, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and 4 seconds. Now we'll save it again. And we'll build it again. Now we have a little better than 13 seconds in total for this slideshow to play. Let's have a quick play. Left to right, flashing. You can adjust your time for each one of those pages as you prefer. So we're going to exit here, go back to our Edit module. Now let's go right to the beginning of our file, and we'll enter it in at about this position. Gives it a little bit of clearing time when the file actually starts. We're going to add our created CDG, our intro CDG. There, now we have some time between the end of the CDG and the beginning of our first line. I do not recommend going any closer than 0.5, which would be about this position here, between the end of your CDG and the beginning of your next page. Especially with CDGs inserted this way, it's best not to have your lines and your first, in other words, your first page and your intro CDG being much closer than that. Let's save this project to this point. Okay, now you will not be able to play this back to see how it appears as a file. What we will need to do is to create a bin file of this project as we have it so far, just to see how the whole thing comes together. So we will go to the top left corner, click Build the Karaoke Track, Build Bin File, and we will create a folder known as Bins. Into which you can save it. Playing it back.
I'm going down Louisiana way. I'm going.
There, now you get an idea as to how the CDG intro, and when inserted into your file, how it comes all together when you create your bin file. Excuse me. Now, we do know that we have a section here which is an instrumental break. So let's move on to that instrumental break, and we're going to create another CDG for this. Our break will start at about 3:04. As you can see down here, this is the position we're at, 3.04 seconds of the file. We're going to go to about this position here. So what we're looking at is a CDG file, which is going to be about 23 seconds in length. So we will go back to this position. Now open up the slideshow module again. We're going to create a slideshow CDG to reflect the break. We don't need to have the graphics in here, so we will delete the image only. We will import, select all slides, we will import the lyrics palette, and we will have it applied to all. And now let's create our text lines. We need new, and we're going to type in here instrumental, double click, we'll position this in the center and bring it down to about this position. Now we'll create a new line. Double click this. 23 seconds. We'll give it some space. There we have that. Now, we may or may not want to have this in the white color. We can change our line colors. To something that shows up nicely. We'll have it set like that. Now, this slide, because it is supposed to be set for 23 seconds playtime, we will now select all. We will click Slides, and there is a feature. You can either select the viewing time here in this section or set your fixed length. The default is 10 seconds. We were going to type in here 23. Now let's save what we have. But before we do that, let's check the effect. Let's, instead of going top to bottom, we'll do as we did with our intro card, and we're going to go again left to right. Save it and change the name to, let's just call it a break. Okay. Build. Save it. Little quick play. Now you notice that the text stays on the screen for the duration of the slideshow. There we go. 23 seconds, exactly. Let's exit. Now we will add that instrumental break. And we can see where it ends. Lots of clearance time. We'll tighten this up a little bit. Now save this project again. And let's build the bin file again. This will overwrite what we have already done. And we'll do a quick playback.
I am going down the wind.
we can stop and pause the play as we prefer. We can also advance it by clicking this advance forward button, either by 10 seconds or by 60. We're just going to quickly do it 60.
As of this very day, don't worry about me, 'cause I'll be okay. I'm going down Louisiana. I'm going down Louisiana way.
There we go. We now seen the transition from one page to the break and then back to the lyrics of the song. Okay, now you can do the same thing with an outro at the end of the file by creating a slideshow for that. You'll notice that the position we're at here is 4 minutes 4 seconds. You have 4 minutes and 16 to the end, actually pretty close to 17 seconds. So you could create a outro slideshow CDG to insert at this position and have it running and timed for about 12 seconds, and it'll take it to the end of the file. That's the slideshow section, and thank you for joining me. Hopefully you found this quite helpful.